What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we've got another cool pistol. We've got the all-new for 2021 Ruger Max 9. Now this is another competitor to the P365 Hellcat, now the Shield. So there's actually a few of these now from reputable manufacturers that have a very small size with a fairly large capacity. So the Ruger Max 9 is a striker fired polymer frame 9mm pistol with a very small overall width and weight. So as you can see here, it's got a very small barrel there, 3-inch barrel with fiber optic front and a blacked out rear sight. Now the cool thing about the Ruger Max is that it does come optics ready, which a lot of these actually don't. The SIG does, the Hellcat has versions that does, and now the Ruger Max 9. We just got done doing the Shield video a couple days ago and I raved about it, but it does not have an option for optics ready at the moment. They said they will, but they don't yet. So if you're looking for optics right now, maybe a Holosun 507K, something like that would be my recommendation. Maybe the Trijicon CC, the RMR CC. You can put that right on your Ruger right out of the box, which is pretty sweet. Ruger also comes with a manual safety on the side there. I'm not sure if they all do, but mine certainly did, which is good or bad depending on what you like as far as that goes. Front slide serrations there are very nice as well. And of course it comes with one flush fit 10-round mag and one slightly enlarged 12-round magazine, which makes it a little bit smaller than the Shield, but it makes it a little bit lighter on capacity as well. And I brought these out here so I can give you a new comparison since both these came out this month. And you can kind of see, if you hadn't seen the Shield video, the Ruger Max 9 is just a hair smaller than the Shield on almost all dimensions, except for maybe width. I didn't actually look at the width on the website, but you can actually see that the Ruger looks visibly wider. And I would argue that width is probably the most important factor when it comes to carrying a pistol. And the cool part about having one of these super tiny mini micro double stacks that you get these days is that it's obviously thinner than a standard double stack like a Glock 26, for example. So being a little bit thicker in the slide I can see is a little bit of a disadvantage, but it's not much thicker. And on top of that, like I said, the serrations on the front and rear are usable, unlike the Shield, and it also comes with the fiber optic sights, unlike the Shield. I would argue that the trigger is not quite as good, although it does feel pretty good, especially considering it's a Ruger gun. Magazine release works well, slide release seems to be pretty intuitive, and overall seems to be a nice little gun if it runs reliably. Real benefit to these, especially if you're looking in the budget sector for carry guns. Not quite budget, but it's certainly going to be lower than its competitors with an MSRP around $499. I've seen these even for as low as $450, which is kind of crazy considering it's 2021, which puts it right around the Shield, maybe a little bit under, and it puts it under the Hellcat and the 365, making it probably the most affordable version of the micro compact, which for a lot of people is a big advantage, especially if you like the ergonomics of the gun. Now the grip feels pretty good, and I wish I had a little texture up here, but it feels pretty good overall, and it feels like a pretty high quality pistol. Not a whole lot to say about it other than the fact that it's a tiny little carry gun, and we'll have to go out and shoot it and see how we feel about it. Before we do that, I want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys. It's because of you guys that guns like this are possible. If you want to help out the channel, all you got to do is go down to the link in the description, click the link and sign up. All that stuff goes for ammunition and guns, and because of that, if you go to the Patreon page, you get some cool exclusive content. Also in that description is going to be a link to a local shelter in Ames, Iowa that I like to support. It's a youth shelter. These kids could really use your help, so go down there and please donate to those kids. And finally, as usual, a link to the t-shirts and mugs is down there as well, so if you want some Honest Outlaw swag, go down there and check it out. Now that you've done that, we'll have to take the Ruger 9 down there and we'll do some first shots here at 50 yards, see if we hit, and if we do hit, we won't even bother sighting it in. All right, so we got the Ruger Max 9 out here at about 45, 50 yards here, and we're gonna do the first shots out of the gun at this distance just to see if we can hit it, and just because I kind of like to do that. We got some pretty cool sky today as well for you guys to look at, so that should be pretty sweet. Wind, there was no wind earlier, it's kicking up a little bit, but hey, if you've been to this channel before, you know Iowa's windy. This is a lot harder to shoot than the Shield for me. We'll see. A little grip down on the left. Getting the hang of it. So the grip's a little smaller than the Shield. So my trigger finger, since I have so much of it in the trigger guard there, as you can see, I'm trying to worm it back, but even when I worm it, I'm kind of pushing the gun off to the side. Classic right-handed shooter mistake, and I'm shooting her a little bit low left. I actually just painted that target so I can see that group is kind of right on the side there a little bit on the right side. Once I realized that, started compensating for it a little bit, which you shouldn't. You should probably have a better trigger finger. But hey, I started compensating for it and I started hitting pretty easily. It's just gonna take a little bit more effort to shoot this gun than some of the previous handguns that I've been shooting. These little micro concealed carry pistols are not exactly designed for long range, so just the fact that it can do that is impressive. However, it can't do that as well as the Shield did out of the gate, or maybe something like the 365, which I was also immediately accurate with. All right, so now we're out here at about 25 yards, and the wind picked up even more, but we'll just plink around here, see what we can hit. We had our first failure. I don't know what kind of failure that is. Looks like the magazine has...
Did I fuck it up?
You know what? My big old hands, maybe I pressed up on the slide release and locked the slide release in place.
Oh.
That happens. User error occasionally. This guy is really jumpy. There's very little texture on it, so you're gonna love this.
Oh, okay. But I don't like jumpy guns.
Really jumpy. Right off the bat, it's a little small for me. I think maybe you might like it. You'll have to let me know with your tiny little, cute little hands. I'm having some real trouble keeping hold of the gun with the little texture that it has and the little grip that it has, but that happened to me with the 365 too. That doesn't mean it's not a phenomenal gun. It just means that maybe it's not necessarily the right gun for me. It does have the most recoil out of all the Micro 9s I shot at. The Hellcat has the second most, and I shot that yesterday, and I can tell you this has more, for sure. So if you're recoil shy, this is not the gun for you. Try it up close, do some double taps.
Okay.
Does the job, not near as fast as the other ones. What happened there?
I just...
Oh, okay.
Don't know. I didn't click back right. I think this is better than the Hellcat.
You like that better than the Hellcat?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's just my personal preference. I didn't like the Security 9 either. I really don't like any of the Ruger pistols, and that's just a tiny little version of that. So that's why I wanted you to shoot it, because everybody's got bias, you know?
Right, right. And I've got, like you said, smaller hands.
Yeah.
And I like less texture, so I
Fair enough.
Okay. I don't know if I can get these guys. Nope.
Your recoil control is getting really good. You're handling that really well.
Thanks, babe. My reloads are not fast though.
That's okay, you don't need them anyway.
I don't like that one. Slow and
like
steady.
it?
Yeah.
Wind's getting absurd.
Yeah.
So tell me what you like, what you don't like.
I like the low texture. I like, you know, the other day when I was shooting the Hellcat, it pinched my finger between the, right here, where the mag loads. I like that that doesn't happen with this one. Those are very technical terms. Did I say I like the green dot?
Yeah. Yeah, talk about that, the fiber optic. You like the green, I like the red.
Green dots.
Yeah, yeah.
It catches my eye better than red.
Fair enough.
Don't know why.
I got a spider on my thumb.
Okay.
Alright, so my first impressions of the Ruger Max 9 are not positive, I have to say. Overall, it is a Ruger pistol. It's a little bit cheaper than its competition, and I would argue that it has some features that I think a lot of people like. It's just not for me. I'm not going to say it's a bad pistol. We had one malfunction I think was caused by me. So overall, that's pretty good. If a gun's reliable, everything else is kind of up to opinion. And it shot 2 different types of ammunition. We shot Winchester white box and we shot Fiocchi 115 grain. I got a ton of both, so that's a lot of what we use on this channel. Now for the 1000 review, I'm probably gonna try some remanufactured ammo, stuff like that, because it seemed to run very reliably. Didn't seem to have any problems whatsoever as far as limp wristing or anything like that. The trigger in itself is a little bit heavy compared to the Shield or the 365. And a little bit longer and squishier too. I would argue that between all of the Micro 9s, the Springfield, the SIG, the Shield, and now this, I would argue it has the worst trigger. I would also argue it has the most recoil, but you didn't think that. You thought that the Hellcat has more.
Yeah. My opinion is the Hellcat was worse.
Fair enough. I like the Hellcat more than I like this, just because of the sights and the grip. The grip's a little chunkier, and I like that. Again, personal preference. If you're a smaller statured person, you got a little bit smaller hands, or you just like this grip, I think it would be very good for you. The magazine release worked well. Other than the trigger and the recoil impulse, I don't see a real reason why you wouldn't buy this, in all fairness. It's got pretty good sights, optics mounting system right from the factory. 2 mags, 110, 112. That's more than enough for pretty much anything you're ever gonna run into statistically. Some of the guns come with more, the Shield comes with 1 round more, but hey, what does that really matter? That's really up to you. I like that the serrations on the front are usable, and I like that the serrations on the rear are usable as well. If you did end up having a malfunction, it would be a lot easier to manipulate and operate that slide, clear that malfunction because of those very useful surfaces. Overall, I like the sights a lot too. It's got the what looks to be they look like True Glow sights is what they look like. I'm not sure if they're tritium and fiber optic, but they are certainly fiber optic. So overall, I think I like the sights. The trigger sucks, and I shot the gun fairly well with the 12 round mag because it has the extension, but with the flush fit mag, it was a little too small for me to shoot accurately, I'll be honest. It was probably the least accurate gun I've shot in a really long time. Could barely even hit with it at 50 yards, and I don't know when the last time I had a problem doing that. Usually I peter out around 75, 80 yards. This time we didn't even give it a shot because, I mean, I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with this thing. My group was like that at 50 yards, so no reason to even bother wasting that precious 9mm in 2020. Those pills of gold, the freedom pills of gold. So overall, reliable gun. If you like the ergonomics, you pick this up in the gun store, you like how it feels, by all means, get it. Triggers or holsters are available, and their optics ready right out of the box. Not much else I'm going to say to it other than it's just not my cup of tea. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please support your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later. Really just wait there for us to film?
They kind of do. They must. They want a cameo.
Fuck me, they haven't drove by in like an hour.